twice on Real Talk about dropping your child off to college and some things you need to talk about and go over with them. So let me give you a little bit about my background. I am a mother of 5. I have 3 biological children, 2 adopted that are my niece and my nephew. My background is in education. I was a special education teacher and advocate. I was a principal headmaster. I've been a competitive cheer coach and cheer coach for umpteen years. And so my life's work and my work and in my regular life is all about working with youth, working with adults, working with families to get them to talk to each other, to get them to work together. I am by no means an expert on anything. I just have opinions, and I have been asked a multitude of times, actually more by young people than anything, why don't you go talk in schools? Why don't you find a way to talk to our families and our parents? So my recent experience is I just dropped my oldest daughter off, my first baby, off to college for a summer college program. And we moved her in and went through an orientation. And so my daughter and I are best friends. Her father is deceased. So we have grown up healing through that together. And when I say best friend, like, we talk about everything. We have talked about any and every topic you can imagine. So we have a very healthy relationship, I feel. And I want it that way. I want my child to come and talk to me about alcohol, drugs, sex, her thoughts, her feelings, her goals, rather than a friend, someone that she doesn't know well, outside world, getting her information from the media, from social media, from songs, from music, whatever it is, because I know the person she wants to be. I know the goals and choices that she wants to have in her life, and I know how we have raised her. And so I would much rather her get the information and have thoughts and conversations with me before she gets it from someone else. So I guess what I wanted to say to you today, young people and adults, is you have to figure out a way to talk to each other. And the first thing I want to say is when you're getting ready to take your student to school, do not be naive. I was up at my daughter's school from last Tuesday to Sunday. And I did that intentionally because my daughter and I are so close. We kind of wanted a slower transition. I wanted to make sure I got her settled, got her doing the things that she needed to do. And Sunday we wanted to get to a church and kind of get her a place where she felt like she could be comfortable, see if it worked for her, so that she had contact with some people who could be support structure for her. Anyway, so the first thing I want to say before I start this, as far as don't be naive, but parents, you want your kid to talk to you. You want to be able for them to come and say, oh, how was your day, rather than just fine. To actually get information, to have those conversations. The problem is when we want to talk to them about something, or when they come to us, we don't listen a lot of the time, and we don't really hear them. And what we do is we do that knee-jerk reaction. We get angry. If our child comes and says, I was at a party last night and I got so tempted and I drank alcohol. Rather than sitting down and saying, okay, why did you feel the need to do that? How do you feel about that? Do you regret it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? How did you, we say, you are grounded. I can't believe you did that. And we jump down their throat and we condemn and we judge them, rather than trying to figure out why they made the choice, what we can do to support them through either the mistake or figuring out what the right choice is for them. So even if they hadn't drank and they are coming to you and saying, I am tempted, I'm worried that I'm going to go to college and I haven't drank, or I don't know if I want to drink, and we just do this whole grandstand bull crap stuff, because the first thing you got to do is be real. My daughter knows that I didn't drink in high school and in college. I drank once. I made a mistake. I got caught. My parents found out. But I was so sick from it, I didn't like it, and I didn't drink anymore. I did have sex at a young age, but my daughter knows that, and she knows what the consequences were for me, how I felt about that. I was very, very fortunate in that I dated the same young man for 6 years. 6 years. I wasn't a young person who had sex and then jumped around from boyfriend to boyfriend, but I could have been. And the thing is if you're not talking to your child about it, guess what? If they have a boyfriend in today's time and age, or even if they don't, if they have low self-esteem in today's time and age, they're seeking out somebody to give them approval, somebody to tell them they're worthy, somebody to tell them that they're loved, even if it's a guy, girls especially, but even young men do it. And to feel like your child can't come to you and say, this is hard, I don't know what to do, or I messed up and I had sex, or I drank, or whatever it is. Guys, do not be naive. Your young adult, your young person is probably either has been exposed to alcohol, has drank alcohol, has been exposed to a drug, but probably may not have done a drug, but definitely knows where they could get it. And if they're in a relationship, or even if they're not, either has had sex or has done things that you don't think they've done, please tell me that you didn't lie to your parent growing up. I lied to my family growing up. My dad point blank, are you having sex? No, I'm not. Guys, come on. Don't be that naive parent. Just because you don't talk about it, just because you tell them not to, does not mean they're not going to. Especially when they get that first taste of real, true freedom. So what I would say to you is, don't judge and condemn. Open the door of that for those conversations to take place. This is what I saw when I went up to this college and was there. At the Tate Student Center, or in the Student Center, or even in the dorm, kids have always been able to talk to me. I don't know why, they just do. So I sat down with a group of kids, and I was sitting there, and they were around me at the Student Center, and they were like, oh, we're going to go out tonight. What do you recommend? I know you went to Georgia. Is there a place we can go hang out downtown? And so I was telling them about some places and some things, and I was like, so do your parents know that y'all go out, or that you're going to go out? Oh my gosh, no. They would kill me if I went out. They would kill me if I drank. They would kill me, those kind of phrases and words. And of course, not really kill you, but they would get on to you. One person even said, my parents are going to be downtown tonight. I have to kind of sneak around so they don't see me. And I thought, oh my gosh, why can't you talk to your parent about it? Why can't you say to them, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm tempted by, and have those conversations? The students that I saw, some students went out every night. The first night of college, I saw students throwing up, girls throwing up, urinating outside, if they got drunk, underage students, which, look, if you don't mind if your child drinks, absolutely no problem. But talk to them about the boundaries, the safety, what to do if they find themselves in certain situations. Don't be naive and think that they are not doing it. Prime example of naivety. I was a coach in a high school. I had a young lady who got alcohol poisoning. Her parents took her to the hospital with alcohol poisoning, and she told them that she didn't know she was drinking the alcohol, that somebody had obviously spiked the punch. They believed her. And don't say that you wouldn't believe your kid, because the chances are you're sitting here saying, oh, my kid would never drink, my kid would never have sex, my kid would never do X, Y, or Z. And I hate to tell you, if you don't have that open line of communication with your child, they are doing X, Y, and Z. If you have not had those conversations, they're telling someone else or talking to someone else because they are engaging or doing, or they are tempted by. And that's where, don't you want them to come to you? Young people, don't you want to be able to talk to your parents about it, and have them say, I was young once, I get it, I know you're tempted, I know this is going on, here's what I would love for you to do, here are my thoughts on the topic. So these are some of the things that I did talk about with my daughter. We did talk about alcohol. My daughter has known at a young age. We have addiction in our family. So her choice is that she doesn't want to drink. And she is also saving herself for marriage at this time. That's her choice for right now. And some other things. So her choices are those. She's told me those are her goals and her choices. So we talk about ways to continue meeting those choices and those goals. Should she come to me and say, I think I want to be able to go out with my friends and have a glass of wine, or I want to have a drink, then we'll address the change in that choice and if it really is true to who she wants to be and what her character is. But I know that she'll come to me and talk about that. Have you talked to your kids about fake IDs? My daughter was approached and told, hey, do we, not approached in a bad way, but the town where my daughter lives, most of the bars are 18 or 21. And not that she wants to go to get drunk, but sure, kids want to go and hang out with each other. They want to go meet friends. They want to do things. And so they have talked about getting fake IDs. So she actually came to me and said, what do you think about this? Should I get one? Should I not? What are the consequences if I get one and I get caught with it? Is it against the law? We looked up and talked about all of those things. I can assure you that I saw and heard about people with fake IDs from Tuesday to Sunday, young ladies borrowing other IDs, young men borrowing other IDs. So if you haven't had that conversation, you need to have that conversation. Young people, if you can't talk to your parents, show them this video. Let's try to get them to start hearing you rather than judging you, condemning, so that you feel like you can go to them and you can talk to them about things, because the world is hard enough without the support of people that love you and that are around you, So we talked about the fake IDs. We talked about budget. We talked about credit card companies and how they'll set up right outside of that student center and they'll bombard you wanting you to sign up for those things. And they'll give you free stuff. Sign up and I'll give you a free phone. Sign up and I'll give you a free this or a free that. So what are your thoughts and wishes for your student with that information? With the alcohol and the drinking. The one thing that I did tell my daughter, and we had this conversation, is, and I saw personally at school as well, and you guys maybe too, it's not that people change overnight in a drastic direction. What happens is these young people will go in with their morals and their values and who they are and who you've raised them to be, and little by little they'll make a choice that's just a little bit off what their value system is. And the next day, a choice that's a little bit off their value system. And slowly, that person will become something that they're not because they don't even see that they're doing it. And so we talked about having that happen. We talked about, okay, you may make the choice to go do this, and you don't even realize that, it's easier to do it the next time. And that it's a little easier to do it the next time. So finding people that are going to be your accountability people, that are going to say, hey, this isn't who you want to be. Are you sure you want to make this choice? So if it's not mom or dad, encourage them to find people and help them when you drop them off, which is what I did. I stayed long enough to see that my daughter had met some friends that were like her. We went around and found, like a Young Life or Wesley or Freshly type groups. We found a church, and if faith isn't your thing, whatever their thing is, help them find that. Help them get their foot in the door, either with people or with something that will help them be true to who they are and who they want to be. We also had the conversation of, and I never ever think that this is an issue for my daughter, because she has goals and what she wants to do. But we talked about, what if you get up there, your goal of college is, number one, to study, to get an education so that you can have a career in life. Number two, to grow as a human being, and that means having fun, going out, doing social things, having activities, joining the sorority if she wants, whatever that is. But we talked about if you get up there and you start making big mistakes and you are not going to class, you are not doing work, your grades fall, you become the person that you say you don't want to be, there are consequences to that, and you need to lay those out to your student, even if you have the best student in the world or the best daughter or son or young person in your life. And I flat out said to her, this is what will happen. You will come home. You don't have to study here. I don't care if you're 18 or not. So those are kind of the thoughts that just so that we had that conversation, I never think it will be an issue because, again, she and I talk about everything. The first 4 nights that she was there, she went to a frat house. She went downtown. She went to have milkshakes one night. And she did do something each night so that she was making friends and being social, which is difficult for her. She's somebody that has anxiety. But she came home. She didn't drink. And, some people did. But she decided not to. I have seen her make some really wise choices since she's been there. I've tried to step back and let her make those choices. Something as simple as, she called me one night and wanted to go about an hour away to a bigger city to do something. But it was late at night, in the dark. She had not driven that drive before. And I said, I'm going to let you make that choice. Here are my suggestions of some other things you can do that may be a little closer. But I'm going to let you make that choice. And I did not tell her yes or no because she's got to start working through those thoughts and those processes. And about 10 minutes later, she called me or texted me and said, we're just going to stay in town, but we're going to go do some things. And I think they were going to a restaurant or have milkshakes or I don't know. But the point is that, she came to me about that choice. And then she was able to work through what I probably would have told her anyway, which is, do you really need to drive an hour away in the dark for the first time to somewhere with people in your car? Is that the safest choice right now? And so what I told her the next day was I was so proud of her because she worked through that and said, I should probably drive to this big city with traffic when it's daylight the first time and make sure I know where I'm going and that I feel comfortable with that drive. So, it's nice to see your student and your young person making those healthy choices and working through things in a good way. But the bottom line is, again, parents, don't be naive. Don't be that person that doesn't have those conversations with your student because I can guarantee you that they'll either lie to you or they don't feel like they can come talk to you about it. And don't you want that to be different? Don't you want to be the parent that they can come and talk to about? And that doesn't mean you have to approve what they're wanting or you have to approve what they're saying. What it means is you're going to listen, you're going to hear them, and then you're going to say, these are my thoughts. And do it in such a way that they'll want to come back the next time and talk to you. And they'll want to come back the next time and get your opinions or your thoughts. And young people, I know that you don't want to go most of the time and talk to your families, but give them a shot. Give them a shot because just like you're, so excited for this transition, those who love you are sad. They're excited for you, but they're sad because they're losing a little piece of them and not getting to see my daughter every day. And get to hug her and tell her I love her to her face is so hard. So when we feel like you're communicating with us and you're including us in your life, even when we're far away, it just means so much. So one of the things I want to do with this channel is, if anybody even listens to this, is real talk. If you have topics, if you want to know advocacy for special education, if you need some thoughts or ideas of how to deal with schools or how to help your son or daughter or loved one that has some special needs. I was a Rush chairman for my sorority. I'm going to do a talk on Rush because that is a huge concern right now for students who are getting ready to go to college, especially young girls in the South and the Southeast. The Greek life system is big, it's important, it's fun, but there are some definite things they need to know and families need to know to support them. I will give some tips and tricks and inside things and thoughts on what to do, what to wear, what to say, what not to say, and how parents and families can support you through that experience. I want to talk about bullying. I want to talk about things that students face in schools. I mean, there's all kind of topics. So if you have anything you want me to talk about, I am not an expert. This is just my thoughts and opinions. Or if you have questions, or just leave them in the comments below. If you will subscribe and like and just share this channel so that we can kind of start having a community of people who talk real with each other about topics that are not always easy for adults and for young people to talk about. That's my goal with this channel, is that I can just do something to help families, because after we lost my husband and my daughter's father, the thing that I learned is that making memories is the most important thing in life. It's not the stuff, it's not the things you give the kids, it is the time you spend with them, the talks you have with them, the experiences you make and do with them. That's what matters most. So if we can use this channel to get some real talk going about how to be better as families and how to interact better, then let's do that. So anyway, so real talk before you go to college, before you take your child to college, sit down, have those conversations with them. Do not be naive and think that it is not happening, because I saw it happen for 4 days. I saw these young people get their first taste of freedom. They went out, they drank to excess. They were so worried about being social to the point where people would like them or think they were fun, or for the wrong reasons, right? So talk to them and hear them and listen to them. Don't judge, don't condemn, don't yell, don't scream. Listen and hear, and see if that works for you guys. So real talk, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.